Alien 3 gets a lot of undeserving hate. Even though this movie ain't the best of the franchise, it's certainly not the worst. I just can't understand why this movie gets so much hate. But nonetheless, I think at the end of the day, it's a decent movie at least. Now, this movie is without its flaws. When they started shooting this movie, they shot this movie without a script. And this film went through many directors and writers. I mean, who does that? This is not a bad film, but it's certainly not great either. The story takes place sometime after the events of the previous film Aliens, and where Newt and Bishop dies in a crash when they land on a planet that's full of prisoners who put their vow with God to atone for their sins. Well, they come across a woman, Ripley, and it changes everything that they once knew. I have to say, I will talk about the assembly cut. It's the better movie in my opinion. It's not only longer, but it makes a lot of scenes of this film make more sense to me, especially that ending. Now, generally, the music's good, but I have to point out that some parts of the film, the CGI is very horrible. I mean, seriously, if you look at the alien in this film, you could tell that a lot of the CGI looks horrible by today's standards. Even back then, it looks pretty shitty to me. I mean, seriously, they couldn't do better. This was 1992. That same year or the previous year, I mean, The Terminator came out, and that movie had better CGI. Nonetheless, this film gets a lot of undeserving hate. And I really think people really need to understand that even though this movie has a lot of flaws, it's not horrible. And it ties up the trilogy real nicely. In my opinion, this movie is inferior compared to the previous two installments. And they somewhat went for a horror-esque vibe with this movie, but it's not as scary as you would say the original Alien film. But nonetheless, David Fincher, who was the director of this film, worked with what he had. And unfortunately, due to studio interference, his version was butchered and you had the original theatrical cut. But to me, the assembly version is just a lot better, in my opinion. Especially the end where Ripley chooses to die at the end of the film instead of being subjugated to giving birth to the Queen Xenomorph, excuse me. And I think that in there's a lot better for what they had in the original cut. But at the end of the day, this film gets a lot of bad hate. Some people enjoy this film, others love it, a lot hate it. For me, I'm kind of in the middle. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm getting this film a 7. It's a decent movie, in my opinion. And if you ask me, they should end the trilogy right here. There should have not been a damn Alien 4. Alien 3 should have been the last film in the franchise. And they just butchered it after this film. This movie tied up all loose ends, Ripley finally being at peace after being tormented by these aliens all throughout this 3 installments here. And it ended the story. There was no need to make an alien resurrection. But, if you ask me, this movie is the perfect trilogy. Even though this film right here ain't perfect, it ends everything with a nice little bow. And that's my review of Alien 3. Leave a comment section below. Let me know what you think about this film. Do you think this is a overrated movie or underrated film? And do you also really believe that it deserves all the hate it gets? If you ask me, no it doesn't. This is not a horrible movie. But a lot of people felt like after the amazing installment of Aliens, this film gets the hate that it clearly does not deserve. I enjoy this movie. It's decent. It's not great. It's not horrible. But and then this installment here would have just made more sense to me. Alright, up next is my review of Alien Resurrection. The worst film I ever seen, probably in this entire franchise. I mean, seriously, this movie, that movie there is shit. And I want to talk about how I really feel about it in my next review. Okay, this is Slim God 172 saying, peace out.